Morning Year 6 and welcome to Tuesday's reading lesson. I don't know if you've noticed, but these new reading texts each week, the Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday texts, all follow a theme. This week's theme is civil rights. Do you know what that means? I'm not going to tell you now. I'm going to come back to this word after Thursday's lesson and see if you can tell me then what civil rights means. Our text today is going to be a Rosa Parks biography. Do you know who Rosa Parks is? Have you heard of her before? And do you know who this man is in the background? Well, the man in the background is Martin Luther King. You might have heard his name before. So what we're going to do now is we're going to read the Rosa Parks biography together. So when you're ready and you've got the text in front of you and your question booklet and a pencil, pause the video and read the Rosa Parks biography with me. You will find the text in the Hucklow YouTube channel, in the Year 6 playlist, in the folder Text Extracts. When you've read that with me, come back and unpause this lesson. Great to see you back. So, before we have a look at the text, let's have a look at some of the vocabulary that was used in it. So this first word is unconstitutional. So, ruled that the segregation laws in Alabama were unconstitutional. To explain what unconstitutional means, first we must understand constitution. Constitution is the basic principles and laws of a nation, state or social group that determine the powers and duties of the government and guarantee certain rights to the people in it. So unconstitutional means it's not right, it's not following the basic principles and laws of a nation. The second word is appealed. Now this is a synonym, or can be a synonym, for the word asked, but appealed is a bit stronger. It means to make a serious, urgent, heartfelt request. So she appealed to a higher court. She didn't just ask, she made a serious, urgent request. Now the last word is seamstress. Rosa often worked as a seamstress, so we know straight away this is some kind of job. And a seam is what we have on clothes. So a seamstress is someone who sews clothes to earn a living. Did you know any of those? So these are our quick start questions. What country did Rosa Parks live in? Why did Rosa have to leave school? Alabama was segregated at this time. What does this mean? Who asked Rosa to give up her seat on the bus? And what happened when she refused? How many days did the bus boycott last? What was the name of the group Rosa was part of? And where could you visit the actual bus Rosa sat on? These are retrieval questions and they are all in the Rosa Parks biography. When you're ready, pause the video and answer the questions. Make sure you answer them on the opposite side to the questions in your reading answer booklets. Fantastic. So now you will have answered the questions. Let's go through the answers together. What country did Rosa Parks live in? America. Why did Rosa have to leave school? To care for her mother who was sick. Alabama was segregated at this time. What does this mean? Segregation means separated from others because of race. Well, it could be because of something else. It just means separated. Who asked Rosa to give up her seat on the bus? The bus driver, because a white man wanted to sit down. What happened when she refused? Well, she was arrested. The bus boycott lasted 381 days. The group that Rosa was part of was the National Association for the Advancement of Coloured People, the NAACP. And where could you visit the actual bus Rosa sat on? Well, you could visit if you went to the Henry Ford Museum in Michigan. Make sure you give yourself a tick if you've got those right. The next question means I want you to really think about this one. I want you to choose 4 words to describe what kind of person Rosa Parks is, but I want you to back up your choices with evidence from what you've read. Here are a few words that I thought of that could be used to describe Rosa Parks. You can either use these or you can think of some yourself. For an example, I would choose the word determined, and I've looked for evidence in the text to show this. The 2 pieces of evidence I've found is that Rosa, who had to leave school to look after her mum, wanted to get a high school diploma. So when she'd looked after her mum and she was married, she went back to school and she finally earned it. That shows me she's quite a determined person. She didn't give up. Another example is here. She wouldn't get off the bus. She also refused to pay, and then she went to a higher court. So she was determined to fight for her rights. So I've backed up my word with 2 pieces of evidence. What words are you going to choose? Pause the video now and think about your words and what evidence you're going to use for them. Great. Now you're back. What words did you choose? Can't wait to see these in your home learning packs. Our next question is talking about how Rosa and her husband felt about the treatment of black people in the southern states. Again, there's a few words here that you could use, but I want you to tell me why you've used them. So you could use these sentence starters. The words I choose are, and I have chosen these words because. So let's have a look at this text here, this extract from the text. Growing up, Rosa had lived with racism in the South. She was scared of the members of the KKK who burned down black schoolhouses and churches. The KKK were a group, and they still exist now, called the Ku Klux Klan, who are a group of extremists who don't like people who aren't white. She also saw a black man get beaten by a white bus driver for getting in his way. The bus driver only had to pay a $24 fine. Rosa and her husband Raymond wanted to do something about it. They joined the National Association for the Advancement of Coloured People. So a few words I could choose were unfair, I could choose unequal, and I could choose criminal. The reason I would choose these words is unfair, because here it says the bus driver only had to pay $24 fine. So it's implying that it should have been more. So that's unfair. Criminal, because she saw a black man get beaten by a white bus driver. And unequal and I've chosen that because they've joined this group to try and advance the situation for coloured people in Southern America. What words are you going to choose and why? Now's the time to pause the video, write your answer to this question, and then join us back for the lesson. Great, Year 6. So the next question is your opinion. If you had been Rosa, would you have had the confidence to stand up for your rights? Why and why not? I want you to think about the consequences and what impact standing up for your rights would have. And think of yourself as a person. Are you confident enough to stand up for something you think is right? And tell me why or why not. Pause the video, answer the question, and then come back for the rest of the lesson. Okay, Year 6, your solo task for today is to pause the video in a minute, and you've got 5 minutes to write down notes, what you think is important from the biography, and then we're going to come back and have a short quiz. Record what you think is the most important information. Okay, you've got 5 minutes. Off you go. Okay, now you're back. I want you to use your notes only and not the biography to answer the questions on the next slide. So on what date did Rosa Parks refuse to move seats on a bus? Did you think this was an important date? Have you wrote this down? The answer to this question is December the 1st, 1955. The second one, in what year was Rosa Parks born? 1913. What state of America did Rosa Parks come from? She came from Alabama. It does say in the text that she was in Detroit, but she moved there with her husband after she was born. Question number 4. What career did Rosa want when she was at school? This was a bit of a tricky one because it doesn't actually say in the text what she wanted to be. It says that she went to a teaching school, so therefore she wanted to be a teacher when she grew up. Number 5. In what year did Rosa and her husband move to Michigan? And they moved in 1957. And the last question is, what is the name of her autobiography? And right at the end of the text, it tells us in the fun facts that her autobiography is called My Story. Did you get these right? Did you use your notes or did you look in the biography? Either way, I hope you answered the questions. That's all for today's lesson. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye everyone.